Well, hello. So I have a radio show for those of you who don't know, and the magazine, and I thought, gosh, I haven't done just a regular old YouTube video in a really long time. So I thought, I'm going to do one. So this week has been such a great week. I've had some phenomenal dinners. I had a Rolls Royce dinner in Montecito that was sort of spontaneous. And I've also had two really empowering Oscar events. So one of them was the documentary shorts and documentary features. All of them were the nominations for the 2013 Academy Awards. And then this morning, I actually went to do my traditional I'm sorry, I'm holding this thing. Traditional foreign film symposium, and I have to say that every year it's always moderated by Mark Johnson, who's a phenomenal producer and writer. He was the producer of all of the Chronicles of Narnia series recently. He's done a lot of work, but uh, every time I see that, it makes me want to write. It makes me realize why I'm a writer, why I pick up a computer, why I type furiously, 100 plus words a minute when my mind is just going crazy. And the magazine I started really as a dare, and it soon became a labor of love, an opportunity for me to share with all of you everything that I love about life. So, whether it's food or wine or film or art or photography, it just became a venue and a platform for me to be able to tell all of you about everything that I feel is important in this world. And these documentaries and these features that I saw, even today, the foreign films, the reason I think the Foreign Film Symposium is just so impacting to me is that, you see all these movies, right? And you hear how many producers it takes to actually make a single movie. And it's always very telling about where we are in the world. So last or 2 years ago, the whole premise was about family and the dysfunction of family, the disconnection between family, the importance of family. And I didn't go last year. I had something going on. And that was the first year I'd missed in like 6 years. But then this year I went, and this year was really about hope. And the movies could not have been more opposite. There was a film called No, which was a film about Chile and the sort of liberation of Chile during the 80s and how advertising played such a crucial role in that. And then there was no, or that was no, sorry. Then there was a film that came out of Norway, and that movie was really about that. I'm so sorry that I'm completely. I should grab my notes, but it was just about the story of. You know what? Hang on one second. Actually, I think I'm gonna go get that. Hang on, since it's a video and I get to do what I want. I'm not under any kind of pressure, so hang on one second. Let me grab that for you. Okay, so I'm back. Thanks for being patient. I'm actually just laying in bed doing this video. Not laying in bed, but sitting in bed. Okay, so I love the freedom of this. This is actually kind of fun. So the films were Amor out of Austria, which was brilliant. Such a brilliant movie. And that movie was by Michael Haneke. And the movie was about these two individuals that were older, and the wife is suffering from, it looks like she could be suffering from a little bit of Alzheimer's and dementia. And it's this beautiful, beautiful love story. And in just this simple little moment, you actually see, in a clip that they show us, they don't actually show us the entire thing, but they show us a clip. And in that clip, you see this beautiful tale between these two individuals that just love each other so much. And it's uncomfortable and awkward because nobody wants to talk about getting old, and no one wants to talk about what happens when we get old, which we all know. There's no predicting what can happen as we age. And I can tell you that in my time, I have noticed everything just changes every year. The older you get, the more you change. I'm coming up on a pretty big year, big birthday, and I never really imagined that things would be the way that they are. So, you get a little more tired. Things are a little bit more work. And God, I hope that my mind and my capacities are all about me, but you just don't know. And so this was a really beautiful story, and it was inspired by an aunt of his who was really struggling and had a tragedy. And yeah, it was really beautiful to listen to them talk about what it took to make this film. He had no apologies, and every single part of this film really was like watching just a master of his craft. And it was pretty extraordinary to see a filmmaker just sort of own up and accept, hey, I made this, and no apologies. And it was this wonderful, masterfully crafted story, and everything was deliberate. Everything had an intention, and it's very rare that you find films like that. So the other ones were by Kim Nguyen, The War Witch, and that was truly beautiful. That came out of Canada. And those of you who know anything about my writing, my deepest passion in life is for the civil unrest and humanitarian crisis that continues to happen in Africa. And this movie really explored just the what happens to these children who become child soldiers, who are raped, who are caused so much harm, who commit crimes themselves against their own family, their own friends, and it's out of sheer survival. And while I only saw a clip, I am determined to go find this movie and see it. And I believe that movie, let's see, it's released in 2 weeks in this country, so please look for it. It's out of Canada again, and it really is. It will change your life, and it's a constant reminder that we really need to make things better. We deserve a better world, and it's up to us to make that happen. It is not up to our governments. It's not up to them. It is up to us, and we have to care more about the situation in this world. And Africa seems to be a continually neglected country, and it's so beautiful, and the people are so beautiful, and the tradition is so beautiful, and all we hear about is the civil unrest and the hate and the violence, and I think that we're better than that. So I would really implore you to go see this movie and make a difference. The other movie was out of Denmark called A Royal Affair, and it just explores, let's see, I'm just trying to read through some of my notes here, so you have to forgive me, but it really explores the story about a queen and a very well-known woman in history. And again, I only got to see a very small clip, so I'm really looking forward to seeing this movie as well. But it was created by Nicolas Arcel, who, you see these movies, and these are true filmmakers. Their passion and love for what they do is so expansive and so undeniable that you feel this contagious, sort of wonderful flow in the air when you're there sitting in this room with these people. When he made this movie, the beauty is actually the actress is unknown, and the actor was in drama school, drama class. He was on his 3rd year of drama school, and they found him, and he's this wonderful raw talent, and you watch it, just this tiny little snippet, and it's so real and honest, and it's so uncompromising, and it's really lovely to see. And I have to tell you that that's really what makes me want to do film. It always has made me have such a passion for it, and really respect how hard it is for movies to get made, especially abroad when they don't have $100 million budgets. And ironically, if you know anything about film, you would know that even in this country, studios used to fund movies. Studios do not fund movies anymore. They make their money really on the back end, and on distribution and downloads and things like that, because the digital environment has changed the course of film so much. So it's really, really important to support filmmakers. The other movies, I'm so sorry. Kon-Tiki, that's the movie that I was thinking of. And Kon-Tiki, I have to say, looks just like such a fun movie, and it's based on the historical tale of Kon-Tiki in Norway. So please, please explore it, because he did this unbelievable mission. And I don't have all the details, so I don't want to misspeak. But the actors in that movie, let's see, Paul Sverhagen, Agnes Kettelsen, Anders Bassam Christensen, Tobias Santelman. And I met Tobias, and I'm really hoping that Tobias will either come on my show, or just do an online interview, because he as an actor was so profound, and he has such a presence on the camera. Really, every single person that was on this raft that they were encountering these massive whale sharks. So when you see some of that, you're like, oh, you have such anxiety knowing, okay, the sharks are there, please hurry up and get out of that raft. And it really did make you kind of pause for a second and think, oh my God, this is great filmmaking. And in that movie, the beauty is these are filmmakers that don't come from Hollywood, yet they're influenced by these massive films like Gone with the Wind and The Royal Affair director. Let me see if I can find this here. Nicolas, who was there today, when he speaks about film, he speaks about it with such a largeness, a grandeur, if you will, of how films used to be made, like the Gone with the Winds of the day. And there really are a few filmmakers that kind of embrace that. There are very few Chris Nolans in the world that actually make films as as big and flawlessly as they do without totally relying on CG. And honestly, as a filmmaker and a writer myself, I mean, I've been working on an adaptation of classic literature for a while, and I'm on my second complete edit. William Morris approved edit, so it's like a completely different story. There's probably been like 6 edits already, but when you go through these processes, I guess, processes of making film, when you write a movie versus seeing it produced, I mean, I've been on the other side of it. So I know how hard it is to get a film produced, and I know how much work goes into simple things like being a gaffer, an electrician, and craft services, and lighting, and wardrobe. And really, when you just watch the meticulous detail that goes into making a movie, and then you see something like Kon-Tiki, and they're in the water. They were out on the body of water for a month at a time, and they would have to switch angles, and they actually did various different versions. They have an English version and a true Norwegian spoken version. And when you hear stuff like that, it's impossible not to admire the process of film and how beautiful a platform that is as a storyteller. And when I see these foreign film symposiums every year, above all else, between that and even documentaries, when you realize what it takes to weave a story together and actually execute that, and I'm so sorry, excuse the I'm going to pause this for